Cool. Yeah, so where should I start really? I mean, if you guys well, you guys have are pretty like knowledgeable with technical analysis, so like I was hoping some other people would join that aren't really familiar with the concepts because I'll probably be going like saying different words that, you know, people might not really understand, and it would have been good to kind of explain. We got one more person joining.
It's recorded, right? Yeah, I think they'll still find value afterwards, right? I mean, even I'll find value, even though I know some things you might know more than me in other aspects, you know. So
Right. I mean, hey, there's a guy trying to join. I see him. There he is. What's up, man? Rand R. Andrews.
G'day, brother. How are you today?
Good, bro. Chilling. We're just waiting for people to hop back in or hop in.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm going to be listening on silent if that's okay. I've got to work at the same time, so I just want to hear what's going on and pick up some gold knowledge.
Sure, sure. And if you have any questions, like just feel free, to ask. I was just telling these guys, I might you know, say some technical analysis nerd stuff that you might not get. So if, feel free.
Appreciate it,
Oh,
brother. Thank you very much.
yeah. So I guess I should preface this entire thing with saying that I've noticed this entire week that a lot of people are getting really, really bullish after this move. Um, and I've seen a couple charts. I think Gray shared a chart earlier today with the whole like M2 money supply chart. And they're comparing it, and they're you know trying to say that Bitcoin's going back to 250,000, right? And whenever I start seeing that kind of these kind of posts, I usually get a little suspicious about what's going to happen next because from both a fundamental and a technical analysis um, standpoint, this is kind of like we don't want to be too bullish. We want to try to remain as objective as possible. Just given everything with the economic backdrop, the tariffs, the trade wars, whatever. Um, and also from a technical analysis standpoint, assuming this is a top, I guess, yeah, assuming this area here, the Trump inauguration was the top, this is kind of the area that if you didn't sell the top, that spot would sell. It's a what's called a bearish retest, right? And so I guess I can move forward into the chart, starting from the top down, starting from the monthly. So I just want to kind of go over how we got here essentially, and then what my plans are, or like let's just say, um, I guess strategizing the different scenarios that we could see coming into the next week and how we would play them. So starting from the monthly. So from the monthly, there's really not anything actionable to say here. Because it's the monthly chart. It's a little too vague. The only thing that's pretty notable is that we're into monthly resistance, right? So this is technically a breaker. I would view that as a breaker, which is resistance. So this is kind of where we would want to go into the lower time frame charts and start paying attention. So, last week price was all the way down here, and now price is all the way over here into resistance. I'm not interested in shorting down at the bottom of the range, but now that we're back up into the top of the range, this is this is an area where you want to pay attention to. So yeah. Down to the weekly chart. So um let's say let's just kind of like review how we got here, right? Like on the weekly chart, we had during the Trump inauguration, price tried was ranging for a few months and then tried to swing higher. They tried to go up above $110,000, but then failed, right? Um, Closed below, and then actually broke down, and that would be the level that you would mark to signify that the weekly structure is bearish now, right? Now, whenever this happens, you can look back. Let's just do that now. I mark this over here. You have that same pattern on the weekly chart. So you have the swing failure, the weekly swing failure, and then the weekly break in structure. And whenever you get this, typically, historically, you see a negative 50, more than negative 55% drawdown, right? Um, so it happened once in 20, or yeah, twice in 2021. Once in summer of 2021, and then later in the year in winter in 2021. So you got that same weekly SFP and then the same weekly MSB, the market structure break, and another 50% drawdown. Now, the and notably, where how far did we get this time? Let's just measure that out for the sake of doing that. We went negative 32%. So not as much. And there's a chance that we don't make it all the way to 55% because there's this concept of diminishing returns over time as the price gets more sticky. Like each and every cycle, you see less and less volatility. Like say this printed back in like 2016, typically you would see a negative like 60, 70%, 80% drawdown. But as price gets higher, there's more liquidity, price gets more sticky. These volatile moves just they start shrinking over time. So technically, you can kind of apply that here. Um, and if this is truly a bottom, like, that would that tells us something, right? It's or this isn't a bottom and we could be seeing a little bit lower, like, you know, 40%, 50 or 45%, somewhere around that range. So just something to kind of think about and to keep in the back of your head. So
So
yeah, go ahead.
I actually have two questions, right? One is, do you use volume profiles and anchored volume profiles?
Rarely, I rarely do it. I mean, it's interesting to look at. I've studied it. I've looked at it. I've tried to apply it, but for the way I trade, it's not always useful to me, and it kind of makes I get overloaded with the amount of things to look at, right? So I try to keep everything as simple as possible. And what by that I mean, like, just looking at the candlesticks and the price structure, using as little indicators as possible. You'll notice that I have zero indicators on except for like monthly, like range levels.
No, I'm very similar. I only trade with price action and volume profiles. Predominantly, my thesis is based on volume profiles. Maybe it's something you might want to look at because it tells a very interesting story. Because the vertical volume bars tell you at what time frame the volume was there, but the
Yeah.
horizontal ones will tell you what price points institutions and stuff are actually interested in, right? And the only way that they can circumvent that is if they're trading large order blocks on like dark pools or something. So for the
Yeah.
most part, you would get like a really good idea of like the volume, and VWAP is pretty good too. I don't know. I just thought just add that. And the other question is I have is I usually tend not to trade tickers that are like very news driven in a sense, right? And
Hmm.
for that reason, I kind of shy away from trading Bitcoin. I trade like equities because although they are news driven, there are days when they're not like completely news driven. Right now, I think everything is news driven. I just wanted to get your thoughts on to what aspect do you think the TA stands when you're just getting like complete volatility and everything is completely news driven.
It's really just experience of like maintaining your risk and like sitting on your hands and waiting for things to happen, especially during environments like these, um and then just focusing on like the structure, like no noise, just the structure. And yeah, I mean, like these past 3 weeks have been insanely hard to navigate with news. um as far as like trading, not like trading anything else besides Bitcoin, there's no reason why. I just like it. I look at the chart all the time, and I don't have a and I have a prop account for Bitcoin and crypto, so I don't trade equities. They don't offer equities on this platform. So, but I do look at, I take a look. I look at ES, I look at NQ, I look at bonds, I look at gold, Dixie. I look at FX pairs and see what's going on, and I do pay attention to them. I just don't trade it. So, yeah. And with the volume profile, um, I like the reason why I don't use it is because I noticed that the things that I'm looking at from the candlestick perspective already shows what the volume profile would like the horizontal volume profile would show. Like for example, if I put a volume profile on this entire range here, I'm sure I'm like 100% positive that you would have a big spike like this and a drop off like that, something like that, and that would be resistance. And like, I mean, it's just that's when I look at it, I see an order block here, I see a breaker here, so it's all just kind of confluent with each other. So I don't really need to. I'm not just saying that to be like, oh yeah, I don't need indicators, but it's just like why I don't need to complicate my life if I could just read the candles, right?
Yeah,
So
no, that makes sense. For each their own. I was just curious, but
yeah,
no, definitely, man.
yeah. So yeah, we have the weekly swing fail, and then we have the weekly market structure break. And um, 3 weeks ago, or like how many, beginning of this month or late March, you had everybody saying like we're doom, we're dooming and glooming, and Bitcoin's just gonna die forever. This is the top. And you had a lot of people down here saying like, oh, I really wish I would have sold. I really wish I would have sold. And now price has gone back up to the area where they wish they would have sold. And now everybody's for some reason bullish, right? Like no one's, everybody's aping in a fart coin. They're backing all the meme coins again. And everybody thinks everything is fine and dandy. At the same time, the fundamentals haven't really changed. We are in a news-driven led price action environment. Everything is super uh, uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. Um, but you still have people trying along the top, this kind of top here, thinking that Bitcoin's just going to keep going straight up, right? And it could, but um, you know, we're here to just manage. We're traders, and as traders, you have to like manage your risk, right? And if price goes into a major high time frame resistance level, you're not gonna long, right? Like where where do you enter the trade? Where's your stop loss, right? Your stop loss is what, down here. That's just like that's too much risk, right? So, um, we're just trying to kind of navigate price one move at a time. We don't really know what's going to happen. Um, so yeah, that's what we're trying to do. Um, I guess that's pretty much it. So on the weekly chart, we're back into resistance, and now we have to kind of like now after this, we go into the daily and the lower time frames, and we're gonna try to figure out what price is gonna do, what the very next move price is gonna do. So yeah. Okay. One more thing to note is that we took out last month's low, and that was a monthly range play. You could have longed last month's low and targeted last month's high, and you would have gotten all that sweet, sweet R, risk return, or risk to reward. Um, so yeah, going down. Let's see, the 3 day doesn't really show much. I guess like one a confusing like one of the confusing parts here, just going back to the weekly, is that we did have this sweep here. We had this sweep and this sweep, and price never closed below this earlier sweep, earlier level, which uh that's what is making this kind of challenging to kind of to figure out. Basically, the question is, are we in a bear market? Are we going lower, or is the bull market back? And this is technically a common pattern, a common reversal pattern on Bitcoin, where you have the classic three drives. You have the SFP, you have the market structure break. So technically, you know, bearish structure has been broken, and you would expect a pullback into support and then continuation, right? Um, but you know, we just have to be careful, right? Because we are into resistance. We could pull back, we could continue just going higher, and you know, who knows? So going down to the daily chart, um, my bias is that, I mean, the probability is stacked to, we're gonna pull back, right? Um, the question is how far and when, right? When are we gonna pull back? Are we gonna pull back immediately from here, or are we gonna on Monday, are we going to go back up, take out some early shorts, and then go down? And then once that happens, how far are we going to go down? Because technically, um, this entire move is super thin. We moved up really fast on really really low volume, so the market is incredibly inefficient. So are we gonna? And there's a lot of sell side liquidity down here that was never touched, which is notably similar to the price action back in March of or January of 2024. Um, there's also another reason why this is a little bit confusing, because this is kind of the same deal. You had the sweep, price gets back into the range. It makes this consolidation pattern, never touches any sell side, and just launches and continues launching. And the same could happen here. It's just a matter of like, we can't just assume it happens, right? So if price does come back, anyways, if price does come back, do we just do we get a shallow pullback here? Do we just range and then continue higher? Do we pull back even more into the into weekly support? Do we pull back all the way, or like, make some stupid pattern like this, and then, after 3 weeks, finally take out all of the longs and then continue higher? We don't know, right? And or the other part, the bullish case is, we range like this and we just continue higher, or just go straight up. And I'll go over kind of like how we would play out all these different sort of scenarios. But yeah, so looking down into the lower time frames, um, there's a couple different ways we can play this, and it's been really challenging, because the price action has been um, only rewarding people that have gone that kind of get in and out. And this has been the case for this entire cycle. It's just um if I were to short here and hold it all the way like this, right? If that was my short, I would probably be holding this for God knows how long, right? And maybe it's like 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe it's a month until it actually plays out. And in between that time, it could do literally any of this stuff. And, maybe it does that. And, and you're missing out on all of these opportunities here that you could have gotten. You could have gotten short here, long here, short here, long here, short, long. Um, and so my point is that price action this cycle has been rewarding just in and out. Like what we could expect here is a few of these scenarios. Like price could go up, take out Monday's range could play out, take out the early shorts, and then dump. It could take out the early shorts, go for this liquidity, and then just get back inside and then range, right? And then and if it does that, that's a different, like, you just, if it gets back into this range and starts ranging again, then like we have to consider that we never even touch any of this for a while, right? Um if price just dumps from here like I've drawn out, um and I can show you guys why I think that might be the case. But if price just dumps right here, gets that bearish retest, and then dumps all the way down, um, it could still just wipe out this liquidity here and then continue ranging. We don't know. So it's hard for us to really catch a juicy like 5R trade. Like you can't, like this target really here, as nice and as clean, and maybe even if it plays out as nice as it looks, there's a lot of opportunities for price to kind of convince you that it's not going to do that, and you might mismanage the trade. Um, you might, for the lack of a better word, fuck up, and then not lose money potentially, or just not get all of the the art. So um, my kind of strategy, and a lot of the guys in this Discord has just been taking like smaller trades like this, like or even stuff like this, where we just want to know what the next move is going to be. We're going to target the first area of liquidity. We're in a bull. We're kind of, it's bullish, so we want to only target conservative targets. Um, so yeah, don't really know where I was going with that, but uh, yeah, it's just tough. So like we just have to watch. Like this would be the first area that I would be paying attention to for targets. I would be paying attention to the highs. And if we do get a dump, uh, does price start to yeah, create bullish signals here? Um, and if it does that, that becomes resistance right here. And if it turns up like that, do we short here into this sell side? We don't know. There's a lot of possibilities, but like I'm just kind of, I guess what I'm trying to do is um, show you guys how like I think about the market and where price could go. Um, Now I don't have spot, but if you were in spot, this would be a great place to sell. And the reason why I say that is because of everything I've been saying with the weekly chart and bearish retest and everything. And worst case scenario, if price does go above resistance, so like the question is, at what point do we do we have to say, like, at what point do we not consider the bearish case? And I think that point is breaking above this resistance level, specifically that really. But if price can reclaim this entire resistance, um, I think that's a perfect like that's good enough for you to be like, okay, um, you can hop back in spot, and you basically miss like $3,000 worth of price to confirm that we're legitimately back in a bull market. But until then, we have to consider that we're still bearish because this is a high time frame bearish retest. Um, so yeah, let's see. Lots of talking, lots of talking. So I was looking at this earlier today. My eyes are looking at this level here because there's a strategy that I use to enter trades, which is if we get an H12 or anything above an H12 and 12-hour SFP swing fail, and we print a uh, market structure break on the 1-hour chart, that would constitute uh, a short or a long. So uh, there was an entry right here. So, just so you know, we've got the sweep here. We got the daily sweep here. We also have a daily sweep here. Price closed below that. And then on the 1-hour chart, that is the MSB line right here. And price closed below right there. Now, I was looking for a more convincing break, like a more, a solid break and then retest of that level. Oops. And I would have you know, that would be a nice short with you could put your stop. Safe place would be up here, and you could target here. Or I was looking at this area here. I think price kind of overreaches a little bit. I don't think it stops right here. I think there's some sell side sitting there. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been paying attention to as of now. And yeah, and I'm just like looking at this, it's just so thin. We can go into the 5 minute, and like you have all of this sell side untouched. All of this
So
sell side.
I have a question for you, just out of
Yeah.
curiosity. What time frames are you usually trading on? Like, how long do you hold a trade for normally?
It really depends on the kinds of trade. Like if I see a nice um let's see. Where can I like here. Um this trade happened super fast. Where is it? There it is. Um this is a strategy that I would use. We had a nice 12-hour sweep. We have the 1-hour market structure break, and we have a retest of the 1-hour order block. That is a trade I would have taken 100%. This is an order block. I would have entered, and there's also a fair value gap here. I would have entered here, and I would have targeted um, all these lows, and it never happened. But I did take profit a little bit, and this was a news driven event, by the way. It was like I don't know, FOMC, but like you have a technical setup, you take it because you have to take it every time if it reveals itself, and then you know
Yeah.
uh, whenever it didn't actually go to any of the targets, but if you were to play it conservatively, I mean, you would have basically caught all of the move within like 5 minutes or some stupid low less than an hour, right? Like it was like 15 minutes you would have banked all that cash.
Lately, my I only ask because like lately it's interesting. My trades have been like literally down to a couple minutes because on NQ like stuff's moving so fast, and I'm on NinjaTrader, so I have like an auto trail trailing stop set. So lately, I've actually stopped taking profits with TPs, and I've just let my stop loss keep trailing the move. So sometimes I'll be in and out of a trade like within 2 minutes, but I just adjust the contract size to make the same amount of money that I'm trying to. So
Yeah, I don't trade super duper duper low time frame. Like I will like I'm not in and out in a few minutes normally. This is like just one of those times where it happened to just happen fast, but I held I longed I longed this entire thing here. Um
nice.
where is it? Um where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I longed the breakout and then I longed a little bit more and I was fine with that for the week. Obviously I could have held it, but that was fine. You know, I see price kind of squeezing up into this resistance level, and I just I forget why I took that trade. It was super loose. Like these trades have been super loose. Like this one would have been my, you know, technical setup. This one has zero technical setup, but and I didn't even share this in the chat. I just kind of like felt it. Um, yeah. So that's kind of
Or
my that's kind of how I do it. As far as like
uh,
taking long trades, um, guess I don't really hold too long because, like I said earlier, price doesn't really reward people that hold for long. Um, it's it's just been really hard, bro. Like quite honest.
these past 2 weeks, there has been no like every single stop has been hit. There have been liquidity sweeps. There's been stop hunting. It's just completely news driven. Like VIX through the roof has been affecting like not just equities, but like by extension every risk asset. So I feel you, man. These like even Treppy was saying these last 2 weeks have been absolutely insane. You wake up one day and they're like 800% tariff and everything just crashes. Like it's wild.
That being that being said, I mean I called this entire down move like way before it, like weeks before it happened. I was just like, this is breaking down. We've got the weekly sweep. We got the weekly market structure break. Where's the next thing of liquidity? I knew the whole tariff thing was going to be really nasty. Um, you know, these were targets on NQ. Those were targets on ES. I literally pinned the bottom, the very dollar bottom. And I have receipts. I posted it in the channel. I marked this level out and it went right to it. It went right to the magic line and then bounced.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like kind of adjust every single day because I usually look at like so I look at like MACD and like 200 SMA and just like the macro environment, either position myself long or short, and depending on that, I'll go that day in with that bias. But you know, I kind of just go day to day because I'm like intraday scalper, so it's like I'm kind of in and out. It is what it
Yeah.
is for me. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think everybody in this Discord has like different styles of trading. But we're all kind of aligned actually with our bias most of the time, which is great. That being said, if you were to, you know, if I were to if I were to kind of say, like, if you were to ask me, do you think the bull market is back? I, to be honest, think no. Like, we've got we've got all these this macro fundamentals shifting and changing by the minute. Nothing. I mean, what they're doing is they're restructuring and reorganizing the entire global trade system, global macroeconomic trade system, which affects a lot of companies, and there's a lot of pain. They have to eat a lot of costs. There needs to be a lot of shifts in suppliers, sourcing. Everything is changing, right? the old system, the way things have been working for the past 50, 40, 30 to 50 years, it has just been like has literally been restructured within the past like 3 months. So to me, especially if you're talking about equities, I don't think this is the bottom. Like, I mean, I don't think this is that's it. I mean, I think I think it's going to take months, not weeks, to figure everything out. Um, I think this is going to be close to a local top. I don't know if it makes a new low, but I don't think this is over. And you can look back at previous bear markets, and there's been pretty significant rallies to the upside during these bear markets, and they look really good too. Like, um, you'll have weekly structure breaks, like um, you'll have this like the weekly closes above this high, and everybody gets excited, and everybody thinks it's bullish, and then what do you know? It makes a new low, takes out all the longs here, and these rallies are like uh, that one was 11%. This one was 16%, and we were in a bear market. So, what is the difference between that, right? Um, I forget what was happening here, something with Japan or something, I forget. But and this where everything changed, and arguably this is even worse. This is more like COVID, where um, where you have like global issues being surfaced, uh, you know, everywhere, right? So, yeah. So I don't know. That being said, right? I'm not gonna take a short and aim for all-time low, right? Like that's just stupid. We have to trade what the market is giving us as it gives us. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I actually have to head out for dinner, but I just want to say, like, yeah, for the most part, I do agree with you. We might go lower, we might go sideways. Market could do anything, but I feel like the shock factor portion of it is over at least. Because I was looking at the bond markets when everything was happening, and they were very dangerously close to actually shattering, which would have been like really bad, honestly.
Mhm.
I've also just been looking at like a lot of other factors, like just like stuff like how much stuff's at the ports and looking at like actual trade, and everything going on. And they are changing up the trading and the way the entire world works. And I guess as an extension, they're also shifting liquidity. But I know for a fact that uh they could the bond market's not going to be able to handle something like what we just had again. So I wouldn't say that we would have like a falling knife type dip. It might be like a slow sideways grind
Yeah.
downwards, something. But right now, this whole tariff thing's weighing the market down. Before that, it was like the lack of quantitative easing. So I think if one thing resolves itself at a time, we might see a slow recovery, but I wouldn't expect any crazy movements, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with that. I think the shock factor is over for sure. The worst of it is kind of like out of the way. I don't know. Anything can happen. What I do know is that they want to. I've been showing this chart in the Discord for a while, but I know they want to pull rates down significantly, and I'm looking at all of these lows here from a technical analysis standpoint. They want to drop it down to like sub 3.5% because like that's ultimately what you. So just to kind of explain, um, there's two there quantitative easing can happen actually in two different ways. The Fed could lower interest rates themselves, and that's the only tool that they have. Basically, um, they can inject liquidity into the market, and they can lower interest rates, um, and that's really it. Like they just have a lever to hike interest rates, keep interest rates there, or lower interest rates. The executive branch of the United States can do a lot of things to influence to basically do quantitative easing. Essentially, if they can manage to get bond rates down, which means people are buying a lot of U.S. Treasuries, and which means that uh, the 10-year yield goes down, all everything goes down. Interest rates goes down from, mortgage loans, personal loans, corporate loans, all of the interest rates for all of these types of loans goes down. And when that goes down, that's essentially quantitative easing because now you're allowing people to take out more debt at a cheaper rate and which would stimulate the economy essentially. So ultimately that's what they're trying to do. And they also want to try to refinance I don't, there's talk that they want to refinance this $36 trillion of debt that they have at a lower interest rate. So,
I was
um,
actually saying this last year that they're gonna have to make a man-made crisis to figure the shit out with the debt. They're gonna have to like tank the market somehow to basically refinance the debt. But not just that, there was also talks of revaluing the gold treasuries that we have, and it helps right now because everyone's flying to gold and the price is going through the roof. So if you're looking at it from a narrative perspective, it makes sense, but that's all just like speculation. I actually gotta head out, but one last thing I wanted to point out, something you might actually like is if you check out BTC.D on TradingView, like Bitcoin dominance, and you find the previous channel where it was like sidebarring and you draw a volume profile, you'll see that right now BTC dominance is actually at the point of control, which means that if it were to hold true to that, then one of two things is going to happen here. One, you're either going to have Bitcoin price fall like crazy and liquidity is going to rotate, or two, you're going to see Bitcoin price hold or sideways while everything else goes up. And to get that second situation, either way, I'm looking at DXY, and I had a target for 96 on the DXY. It just broke a 3-year support, I think, and it's actually headed towards 96. Once VIX cools down, and then DXY, depending on that, if it continues going down, and BTC is like still here, I think it actually sets up from like a data point, actually a good scenario for the crypto markets and risk on assets. Now, whether the narratives of what Trump and these guys do fits that or not, I don't know. But you put that together with there's actually like a lagged M2 indicator. I think it's like 57 or 109 days. One of those. There's actually a heavy correlation between Bitcoin price and I think Total 3, which is altcoins minus Ethereum stable and Bitcoin with that on a lagged basis. So I've been looking at those things to kind of give me a better idea of how everything's going. And I would argue that things are really undervalued right now. I've just been buying a lot of crypto. That's actually why I've drained all my trading accounts and everything. So except for the 0 to 100K challenge. So that's what I see right now. But I do gotta head out. I just thought I'd give you a quick.
yeah, man. Well, appreciate you joining the stream.
Yeah, of course, man. And thank you for walking us through this, man. I really love these streams. I'm gonna start joining more of them, honestly, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. Later, dude.
Later.
Let's see. Yeah, um, yeah, I mean, I could go into what I think about bonds and all the macro stuff if you guys want. Um, it's up to you guys. I mean, where y'all at? Treppy, Andrews, whatever you guys want to do. Um, how do I change to the weekly? Next week. Oh, okay. We got goods. Well, this was this week. No, it's next week. Oh wow, this is a lot. This is a lot of stuff. Okay, okay. What's nothing on? Well, yeah, that's what I want to see. There's nothing on Monday. Okay, so um, we're clear for Monday, and actually let me actually show you guys what I look at now. Um, this, I mean, I have the charts pulled up on. I showed you guys some of these charts leading into the week or like throughout the week, but there's massive amounts of longs, which is why I think we pulled back. Here you go. Look at how this is a liquidation chart, and these are all of the liquidation levels that people have aggregated. Well, this one in particular is on Binance, which is the largest exchange. So, I mean, you have a you have 745 long liquidations versus 196, and the delta is 550. And, you know, you have all of these longs here. Un all of these longs they're not sweating like at all. So I, from a probability perspective, the market is going to seek liquidity and it's hitting resistance and it clearly cannot um, break through this resistance. And it's been how many days? It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days and it still hasn't broken through. So it needs more liquidity if it wants to go higher. And none of the longs have gotten touched. Also, all of the shorts have already been taken out, essentially, and we can look at that here. Um, Not this one. Here you go. Um, let's pull that in. How do I? Let's just reset it. This is the weekly. This is the past 7 days. So I mean, like, um, we have this, we have that last high. Price took out that, ate into a lot of that liquidity, and now it's kind of gapping down. If we go to the monthly look back and run that, we all those shorts. I mean, that was like how many shorts um got taken out. So I think enough shorts got taken out. I think we're due for a pullback to get a lot of these longs, um, and especially the longs down here. Like that's what I'm really looking for. Um, whenever we have typically whenever we have moves like this where it's super thin and it's just there's none of the sell side gets taken out or retested. Typically, we get a reversal all the way back. And that was the case over here, where back in this range, price did this, it left all of these longs untouched. And I had a lot of friends and a lot of people that were on Twitter saying, oh, we're never going back below this level here at all. And I was saying these lows get hit for sure. These lows are going to get hit. And, people calling you crazy, obviously, and then lo and behold, boom, kicks it out in 3 days. So yeah, I think that's kind of likely, to be honest. We can also check the CVD or the cumulative volume delta, and um, basically what we're looking for here is we want to know or we want to see evidence that since this is a high time frame bearish retest that spot is selling here or just there's signs of distribution, right? And looking at the CVD you can kind of see that. Now um let's just pull out first and let's just look at the run up. Okay, you had when you have a price go up like this, straight up like that, typically what you see is spot also is buying in and adding fuel to this run up. So in order for price to move, with this sort of strength, you see spot ape in, right? Now, we're looking for signs of distribution. Now, here's the local top the past couple days over the weekend. You see spot volume is dropping. So spot is selling their positions. Futures is still up. So essentially, how you would read this is that spot is distributing their bags to futures, which are basically leverage. So leverage traders are longing late, thinking, everybody that you see on Twitter getting bullish, people that are aping in a fart coin, right? These are these kinds of people. They're basically picking up these guys' spot bags. And if we go in even closer, what we're looking for now is it matters less on the on for the spot, but when you go lower time frame, but we want to see divergence happening, and which means when you see bearish divergence, which is like this, where you have a higher high on price, but a flat to lower high on the CVD. There's that. We have this divergence here. That's massive. And this is even more drastic because it made a lower high. You have, uh, um, let's even go further. Oh, I gotta reload. And I've gotta pop that back open. Um, we're seeing, damn it, bear with me. There's divergence right here today. Boom, got a higher high, lower low. Now, um, let's look up the CVD divergence cheat sheet. Bearish divergence and hidden bearish divergence. So when price makes a higher high, actually I have a better one. It's in this Discord channel resources. There's that. There, here you go. So we have price makes a higher high, CVDs makes a lower low. Price is making a higher high, CVD is making a lower low. We can even pop open interest. Let's see what's going on there. Open interest is decreasing. Well, it doesn't matter because open interest could be increasing or decreasing, which means exhausted buyers, decrease in buy pressure, and increase in selling pressure, possible negative reversal. So that's what's happening here. That's what was happening here. You have that, and you have that. You have it going on over here. These tops. So open interest, you can see open interest increasing. So a lot of shorts opening. Open interest is basically the amount of positions opened on a specific exchange, and this particular one is Binance. So if we have bearish divergence, exhausted buyers, decrease in buying pressure, increasing selling pressure, we have shorts, massive shorts opening at this high right here, at this high right here, trapping longs. Boom. So longs are entering here, trying to push the market up, and shorts are selling and trapping these longs. And now price, if you, is breaking down. If I want to see, like I said, I want to see a more decisive breakdown like that and a retest. But that's essentially what's happening here. Um, Yeah, he this one here, he was like, there's a pause. He was pausing, and now he's not pausing anymore. But honestly, I mean, like, it's all just it's all just, theatrics to me. I mean, like, the market is so stupid. Like, they're gonna react. The fact that they're reacting on all of this stuff without understanding like the true macro fundamentals behind any of this, it's like this is obvious. This is obviously fake, right? Like, it's superficial. They're um to me at least, that's just my opinion, right? Like, they're just propping up price to get a better exit, distributing to um, leveraged longs, right? They're trying to release their spot bags up here at an obvious resistance level. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, like, that's just my opinion. Whether we make a new low, it's harder to kind of gauge. Like I said, we just want to catch the first, like, the most obvious move, and then if we get this bet, like, if we get this, we take profit, then we sit and wait to see what price wants to do. If it wants to go higher, then we adjust, right? If price wants to go like this and then consolidate, take out all these longs, but then consolidate here, that probably means we go lower, you know? So, yeah. Um, as far as news, I mean, this doesn't really help me at all. I don't really care for it. So, a lot of I know you guys care about it a lot, but it doesn't really make it much of a difference. I get my information from like these tools here, and these, they help me a lot. So, um, yeah. Okay, sick. There was the weekly close. So, see, so like what I like to do during the weekly close is I like to look at the CME chart to see if there's any gaps. And there's no gaps. So, um, business as usual. That's all, man. That's it. That's all I got, man. Yeah, totally. I'm down for whatever. Yeah, of course.